Okay, good. What is it? Morning. It's almost afternoon here, and we are going to be talking about. Are you ready? Good morning. With this, I'm doing this in Zoom that broadcasts to Facebook, and it's interesting how it sometimes works and sometimes doesn't. So what I'm going to do is say good morning, good afternoon, wherever you might be, evening for you. Last week, I did a video on step 1 in building your business properly and having proper business systems set up. And so we'll put the link below, but it'll be a YouTube video as well as it's on Facebook. And it was about thinking about domain addresses and websites. And now we're going to talk about, once that's done, the next step is email. And so I am going to make this live. Hold on. Where am I? Go share my screen. Let me share my screen. Share screen. I'm going to share this screen. Okay. Perfect. And I'm going to present this. Okay. So we're going to talk about the step 2, which is, hopefully it's working out here, which is all about shifts or steps in your business. So again, I'm going to talk about email. And this is one of the most critical parts as well, because none of the other steps or shifts below work properly without email properly configured and set up. So we're going to dive into it and talk about how important it is. Let me move my mic over a little bit. Okay, so email. Now, I love this quote because Dolly Parton, you'd be surprised how much it costs to look this cheap. And it is really, really, really true when you, for your business, are using a business email, non-business email, a free email address. And by free, I mean, and this is just a couple of like hundreds of them that are out there, but like at Yahoo, at Outlook, at me, at iCloud, at Shaw, at TELUS, at AT&T, at AOL. If you're not paying for a business email, it means that you have a lot of issues in your business. And I'm going to go over that today. So really pay attention to what I'm talking about. Okay. Okay. So I also always like to have you look at it in a different manner. So let's say that you had to hire a lawyer, hopefully for something minor, right? You had to hire a lawyer and you liked both of them equally. And then they hand over their business card. One guy is Joe TheBestLawyer1973 at yahoo.com. And then Jenny is Jenny at smithlaw.com. What one would you hire? Joe looks really unprofessional. Plus, please, you have your birth year in your email address. That's horrible for many reasons. One is fraud. People already know something about you, right? Really, really bad. Okay. So I know you know that that is true. So let's now talk about what happens when you're using those cheap and free email addresses. You look unprofessional, and this is not me saying it, I believe it, but this is actually from a study done. Inconsistent in your branding, less confident and trustworthy. You don't look legit, all right? And in the study, 75% of consumers say an email address matching your domain is critical to trust and professionalism. Now, here's the thing about that. It has to be on a proper server, right? And it has to be properly configured in order for all things to work. I see agents go out and say, oh, that's a great idea. And then they don't set it up properly. And then you're in a worse scenario. So I'll give you an option. I always do when I'm talking about these issues in your business, and give you an option to have a 30-minute chat with me to discuss your business system setup and how it's impacting you. Okay. So again, I want to talk about what I've seen happen is that Jenny may have, now it looks good on the piece of paper or the business card she gave you, but what happens is if she is forwarding that to her Yahoo, Shaw, TELUS, AOL, right? There's even more problems because it's confusing for the clients, because now they're like, well, what happened to Jenny at smithlaw.com? Where'd this Yahoo email come from, right? So it really should be a properly paid for business email. All right. So I have noticed in the many years I have been, decades, if you want to know, how I've been working with email and how it flows and how it works with different software and different devices, that a lot of times there's a confusion in the email world. So I want to unconfuse you by just talking about email and a little education about how it actually works. And this is, you might be using Gmail, again, Yahoo or iCloud or Hotmail or Outlook.com or AOL, one of those free email accounts, or a paid one. But every single email address comes with a possible, obviously the email address, and then it comes with a possible folder structure. It comes with contacts, and it comes with calendar. These are all linked to an email address. Okay, pretty simple. Every single email that you have has this setup. Okay, so if you have 5 email addresses, you've got, each one has these different things. Does that make sense? So when you have like 5 email addresses, it's very confusing when you go to update a contact on your phone. Which one are you updating? And usually people are all over the map. They're like, I don't know, I add it to my phone, but it's not somewhere else. And you have a lot of problems. I'm going to explain why that happens. Now, those emails, just for the purposes of chatting today, the email addresses are your headquarters. Okay, I'm just going to say it's the headquarters up in the cloud moving forward. And what people get confused about is that you use different software and apps to view the headquarters. Okay, so on a device, you could download Gmail, which is the second one, the little red M. You could download Microsoft Outlook. On Apple devices, you could use the one that's on the left. That is what comes with your Apple devices, called Apple Mail. Okay, so you could use any of these viewers to view the headquarters. People get confused about this when they say something in an email to me. I think they don't understand what they're actually saying and how they're configured. So you literally could view Gmail email headquarters on Outlook email app. All right, hopefully that makes sense. You could also on your computer, usually this is where people would do this, they go on their computer and they log on to a browser to view their email, contacts, calendar, and the folder structure, right? Or on a computer, you could download third-party software or use third-party software. The first one is a very common one that many people get confused about, is Outlook. Microsoft Outlook can be downloaded onto your computer to view that headquarters email. Or if you're a Mac, the other one to the right-hand side, that is Mac Mail. Mac Mail, you could be using it as a viewer of your headquarters. So you could be using Mac Mail to view Gmail email or AOL email or @me email. It doesn't matter. All these things are just viewers of your email address. That's that headquarters in the sky. Make sense? Okay, so what we see, and why does this matter? It matters because the different email addresses, the headquarters, can be set up and configured in the wrong way, because they're on the wrong servers and they're on old servers, and free services are either POP, generally speaking, free services are on POP or IMAP servers. So let me explain the problem with POP. So POP is generally, Shaw would be POP, TELUS is POP. Some of the other, depending on when you had your Yahoo account, it might be POP, it might be IMAP. It just depends when it was set up and configured, but you'll see the issue. So remember those email viewers. So if you have Outlook on your computer, and then you're using Apple Mail on your iPhone, and you're using a browser somewhere else, that wherever you've configured it on every device, it's this way. So it's a one-way download to each spot, right? Does it sync the folders? So on my phone, if I move an email to a folder and I go to my computer now, it's not moved because nothing is talking to each other, right? Does it sync your contacts? No. So if you update a contact here, it doesn't show anywhere else, and vice versa. Your calendars won't sync. You add a calendar here, you will not see it anywhere else. It doesn't integrate with any CRM. So if you use a CRM, and I find most agents don't, we'll talk about that on week 4, that's number 4 about CRMs. But if you actually use a CRM and you flip a switch to integrate, it won't. So what I mean by that, if you have a POP email or IMAP email, I'll talk about in a minute, you will never have update in one spot and it updates everywhere. It'll never happen for you. So you're always running many, many different multiple databases of contacts. So frustrating. And it doesn't come with any kind of cloud storage drive space, okay? Now, IMAP, when that came along, being in information technology, when IMAP came along, let me tell you, yay, I was so excited. Now when I look back, it's like, okay, it was better than POP, but it's definitely not as good as it could be. But if you are using IMAP, this is what happens to you. So yay, the email it does sync. So if I delete off my phone, it deletes everywhere else that I am viewing it with those viewers, right? And does it sync the folders? Yay, it does. So if I move a folder, an email to a folder on my phone, it has moved all other viewers. All right, but here's the problem. None of the other stuff works. So do you understand the problems you're having now? And I'll recap them as well. But the new way, which has actually been available for about a decade, so it's not that new, but lots of people don't understand the issues that they have and why they have them. And it's always related back to this POP and IMAP issue. So the new way is on a properly configured email address on a properly configured email server. And look at this, everything talks. So here's this beautiful world. I update anywhere in my CRM. I open up my CRM, I update the contact. It updates everywhere, my phone, my tablet, my computer, because everything is talking to each other. Now, can you imagine how exciting that is when that's your world? So people don't understand the problems and implications that a bad free email address has for you in running your business, okay? So here's some of the things that if you are using those free services that you have problems with. I already mentioned this, but you read an email and it shows unread everywhere else. So how much time are you wasting, right? Because you think, oh, did I read that? Now you got to open it up again because you're on the other viewer, right? So frustrating. Then you move an email to a folder, it doesn't move, or you can't find it because nothing's talking to you. You deleted it here, it didn't delete here. You move it here and it doesn't move over there. It's so frustrating. You update a contact on your phone and it doesn't update everywhere else. So this is a key thing for an agent, right? You're out and about and you meet somebody and they're interested in buying. So you put it in your phone and then you get to your CRM to go put them on a drip, I hope. A drip campaign is a sequential set of emails based on a type of client. I help agents with that. So you put them on a drip, but they're not in the CRM because you're not set up properly to do that. So you have to remember, and we know how well this works, that I have to remember if my setup is incorrect, that I have to go back to my computer, log on to my CRM, remember who the person was, open up the contact on my phone, and then add it again in all my different spots. Waste of time. And you have to, are you going to remember to do it? Maybe not, right? You update your CRM contact info. It doesn't update your phone, Outlook, Mac Mail, contacts. You have to input it again multiple times. It's so frustrating. Here's another issue that most Apple users don't understand is that when usually the default setting is configured that when you update a contact on your phone, it updates Apple's headquarters, not your AOL or your Yahoo or your Gmail or anything else. It sits now in Apple. So then you're confused. Might be okay if you have a Mac as well, if it's configured properly, maybe. But if you're Windows, this will never talk to each other, right? So your iCloud account is never going to talk to your Windows account because it's not set up to do so. It's so frustrating for people. Apple users, you have a big problem, okay? And I have to preface this with, I'm not saying Apple's bad at all. I'm saying your devices are configured incorrectly, okay? All right, if you're managing multiple databases of contacts and leads and nothing updates in real time, it's because you're on a wrong email server, all right? You have to access different emails on different devices. I've seen agents do that too. It's like, okay, my personal one's here. That's the only place I access it. I don't access it when I'm here. It doesn't make sense, right? Why? It needs to be set up and configured properly. And it can be on all devices if it's configured properly. So you use a forwarding email address. This is another thing I said. Remember that Jenny at smithlaw.com wasn't set up properly. She just forwarded it to her AOL account or whatever Yahoo account. Now there can be delays of up to 30 minutes. And in your industry, time is money. All right. So I never, ever recommend forwarding, especially if you're doing it multiple times. Now, there's some reasons to forward, which I can talk about if we chat and I can look at your actual setup. But in general, if you can avoid it, you want to. Okay, like a brokerage email address. Why would you use that? And speaking of that, if you're using a brokerage email address that's a forwarder, okay, it's forwarding to your, hopefully, it's not going from your brokerage email to Jenny at Smith Law, let's say, and then forwarding to AOL. That's two forwards. That's bad. Okay. And it's confusing and things can get lost this way as well. Then if your brokerage actually offers you a proper business email, and I've seen lots of brokerages actually set it up and they don't even set it up on the right system, which makes no sense to me. But IT people don't know your business. I do, because I've been in it for a long time. But what happens is, who owns the data if you're actually using a brokerage email address as a real email address? They're saying, yeah, we'll pay for it for you. But who owns the data? You should own your own data. You should own your own contacts. You should own your own information about your clients. Okay, I've seen this happen too many times with agents that they want to switch and now they're a little bit hooped because everything is with the brokerage. And so the agents have the brokerage email, right? And now you want to switch. Well, they're not going to forward it for you to your new brokerage, right? There's ways around that you want to own the data. Okay. All right. The other thing I see all the time is agents using info@ or sales@ in a email address. Well, info@ or sales@ and they're what we call role-based emails. You can Google that later. And role-based emails are high spam alerts. So if you emailed me, more than likely, if you emailed me from info@, it goes into my junk. So are you missing out on deals because you're using an incorrect email address? Now, again, I help agents with that so that if people have that info account or info email, and we get you set up on a properly configured business email account and address and server, that you won't miss anything. All right. But you should never really use an info@. It's very bad. You see, Google it, you'll see role-based emails. All right. GoDaddy or somebody else says, you know what, you pay us and we'll set up your email for you. I don't like that either, because now you're going through them to set it up. And I've seen this before too, where you want to switch and do some stuff, but GoDaddy's the owner of your stuff, kind of, right? I say you set it up. It's your business. It's your email. It's your contacts. It's your calendar. It's your folder structure. It's your files and folders on your computer. Okay. All right. And then, we've seen this before where an agent said they sent you an email, but you can't find it. So this literally happened to someone I know, an agent I know, where the other agent had a role-based email. They were texting, and for some reason he decided he was going to email and say, hey, we just got an offer. Are you in? They didn't get it. Now, yes, he should have called or texted, but whatever. I'm not that agent. But what happened was they can prove they sent it, but she didn't check the spam, and she lost out on a large commission on that, and the client lost out because they would have paid way more. Everybody lost out on that. And again, it's all because of email. It's because your email is incorrect and incorrectly configured. All right. And then the other issue I see is that people have their email addresses tied to a cable service provider. That is really bad for many, many reasons. Most of those are POP and IMAP, and they do not offer any business emails. But another thing is you want to move, you sell your place and you move somewhere else. Let's say you're with Shaw and you want to move. Well, are they in that area? And do you really want to be tied to them? Maybe there's a better deal with another internet service provider, right? Not smart at all. And Shaw, for Canadians, Shaw and TELUS are so bad to run your business by. And also anyone else, that is not their primary thing, is email. So I know TELUS clients, I think it was like 6-8 months ago, they had something like a 2-week outage. You weren't getting email. Now, could it happen on elsewhere? Yeah, but if your main thing is business email and you're paying for it, really unlikely. Okay, really bad to run your business off of a internet service provider email. Okay, bad, 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 bad. All right, you have to try and piecemeal all your software to try to get it all work, and it doesn't. That's because you're using that cheap free email address. And this causes you lots of lost time, lots of lost dollars, and I know high stress because you don't understand why it's not working, right? And really, other experts do talk about all the techs. They don't talk about the tech side. They'll guarantee that you're going to make lots of dollars by doing lead gen and pop by and mail outs and Facebook ads or whatever else they want your money for. But if you have a properly configured, well, you'll see week 3, we're going to talk about cloud storage. And then week 4, we're going to talk about CRM. If you actually use your CRM properly, the switch is flipped, that it actually integrates with that business email, and it doesn't integrate with all business emails. Okay, I have to preface that. So don't just go set it up, set up a chat with me. We can see if we can help you get this stuff all sorted for you. All right. We want your systems to just simply work for you. And I cannot stress this enough, and how often I see agents having set up these accounts 20 years ago, and then you get into real estate and you think that it's okay to just keep using that email address. It's not okay. It impacts your business, and those email addresses will generally never work with the CRM that you choose. Never. Okay, unless it's some weird wonky workaround, which I've seen also, which is also yikes, scary. Okay. Okay, so let's talk a little bit. I'm just going to show you visually what I mean. So here we are. We've got all these horrible email addresses, in my opinion. Okay, and I've seen so many. John the realtor, it's 1963 at whatever. Like, it's just bad. What looks better, the right-hand side or the left-hand side? Now, we know that the right-hand side looks better, but it has to be set up properly in order for things to work. Okay. So in week 1, last week we talked about domains, and this week we're talking about emails. Next week, we're going to talk about cloud storage and how that is impacted as well when you share a folder, right? A folder of HOA docs or strata docs with the other agent. What do you use? How is that impacting with the email address? I'll talk about that next week, okay? But I don't want you to be stressed out about it. I will put a link below to, you have the ability to book a little session with me. I do 30-minute strategy sessions with agents and see if we can, how you're set up and how it's impacting your business. And if we can help you, that would be awesome. So again, I'll see you next week about cloud storage, but email is one of my all-time favorite topics. So if you have any questions, put it below, and I will see you next week. Darci LaRocque, Agent Tech Mastery. Talk to you later. Bye. I'm really leaving. See you.